I'm Megan.
And you're watching Game of Tomes. You're probably wondering, who's Megan? Megan is our good friend who's in our book club in real life.
It is nice.
Oh, good. And I was going to do this video all by my lonesome, but then, hello, Megan just finished Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. And it would be awesome to discuss it with another person.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I think so.
You're the only other person that I know that has read this book.
Same. I don't know anybody else.
I
don't know anybody else that I recommend it to. Like, I was like, Jessica's the one I have to recommend this to in my life.
I'm so glad that you did.
I'm like, I think she will enjoy this.
Thank you. Okay. That's nice.
I'm not surrounded by very many readers, so it's nice to talk about it with somebody.
I thought Norrell reminded me of Sheldon Cooper.
Yeah.
In that, like, he was kind of compulsive.
Yeah.
When he's, like, he thinks his books are going to be taken away, he's like, he doesn't even want his friend.
Oh, gosh, no. He's very much like, you know, Sheldon Cooper's like, this is my seat.
Yeah.
And that's only his seat.
And he's like, these are
my
books.
Those are his books, and those are only his books.
Yeah.
So much so that he creates a labyrinth around his whole library that only he can figure out.
Which is kind of awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would do that.
So we're here to discuss it. If you're watching this video, you have indeed read the book. So we're going to be talking about all the things that happen within it, and it's spoilerific.
Also the TV show.
Also the TV show, because we both watched the TV show.
Excellent.
I really want to just, like, start, like, at the end and be like, oh my god, what did you think of that ending? But, like, that seems kind of backwards.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't do that.
Okay. The book writes, like a history book.
Which is kind of cool. It's completely different than a lot of books that I've read. Especially fantasy books.
Yes.
Most of the time fantasy books are, like, straight into it and you figure out the world as you go. But this very much had, like, footnotes of past books. And the whole, like, magical books are all history books, which I found really, really cool.
Yeah.
Even though I was kind of terrible at history. I'm not good at dates and stuff like that.
Dates, no. What did you think of the footnotes? I think it was hard to get into at first, and then every time a footnote would happen, I would be like, reset, and then, like, it would be, like, another whole story to give you context for what the person was saying. And the footnotes were often either made up, or it was written by someone in the book, which I thought was very cool. Even from Jonathan Strange's own book.
Yeah.
Which I love that.
Yeah.
And there was, like, some real stuff in there. Some actual text.
Right. I thought that was very interesting.
You liked it?
Yes.
Okay.
I thought the first half, or first, you know, third or so, until you meet Jonathan, was kind of slow. But I thought that the only reason I kept on reading it was maybe because of the footnotes were giving me all this information. And I kind of really enjoyed that. So I was like, I gotta stick this out because I think it's going to get really good. And it did.
It did. It got so good. Yes.
The hard work at the front really pays off.
It reminded me, the writing, a little bit of Jane Austen. It was kind of Austen-y. Did you get that at all?
Yeah, and I think it has to do with the time period also.
For sure.
The way that, you know, people present themselves in England at this time, and then the society and everything like that. I thought that was very true to
the time.
The time.
And it felt like it was penned by someone who was in that time.
Yeah.
It was written in 2005, I think was when it was published.
Yeah.
And she just did such a good job of, like,
I feel like she did her research very, very well.
Yeah.
And then I think also, if I was going to compare it to another modern author, I would say maybe even George R.R. Martin. Because it's so in-depth in the world, which got frustrating some of the times, but then some of the times it's like, okay, I get it.
Yeah.
But it's like, sometimes it's like, you know, when Arabella met Lady Pole for the first time. And they go on and on and on about all these paintings, and I was like, okay, I get it, because it's Venice, and that plays a deal later on, but at the time I was like, okay, we can move on. I get it. They're very cool. I want to know the interaction between the two girls, not, you know, about the gold leaf frames and, you know.
There was definitely some of that, and I feel like some of that stuff could have just, like, the book could have been just a little shorter.
Yeah.
And
especially the front third.
Yes. Yes, I agree.
I feel like you could have gone straight in with Jonathan Strange, and Jonathan Strange figuring out this world, and it would have been very cool.
Yes.
Yeah. But you gotta set up Norrell too, I guess.
I mean, it could have been a series. She could have written it like a series and done different volumes. But I think she did it in one chunk for a reason, and that reason is to make it feel like a historical account, which it does.
Very much so.
But it's very narrative. And did you find yourself thinking, who's the narrator?
Very much so. The
Me
whole
too.
time.
Yeah.
I was like, is it this person? I'm like, no.
I kept thinking, like, maybe it's Childemas, because he's the only one who really liked both of them and talked to both of them. And so, but they reference his book.
Yeah.
Childemas's book on the subject. So it's like, okay, so this isn't Childemas's book if we're referencing Childemas's book in this text.
Part of me kind of thought maybe it was the Raven King. Because the whole time, you know, you have the prophecy that sets up everything. And the whole time you have Vinculus who's saying, you know, Strange and Norrell are both part of his magic and his clan, so I always kind of thought it was the Raven King, kind of overseeing all of it.
I like that theory a lot.
Yeah.
I'm going with that. So here's a question. Norrell can summon a fairy with ease and see the fairy. But Strange takes a long time to summon the fairy.
That's very true.
And, well, he does that successfully, but to see the fairy.
Okay, because Strange had to make himself mad to even be able to see the fairy. And anyone that is mad can automatically see him.
So do you think that Norrell is mad?
I don't think so, because I think that the fairy world was locked until he summoned him.
Yes.
And I think, therefore, the fairy had to show himself. Because the first time that Strange summons him, he said, I think it was Stephen Black was like, well, why can't he see you? And it's because he chose not to be seen to her. So I thought maybe since Norrell did it first and unlocked the world, that he automatically had to be seen. He couldn't hide himself because he hadn't been in that world recently.
That makes sense.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Or maybe Norrell is completely insane. Who
knows? He's like...
He doesn't seem like it, though. I feel like it has to do with the whole unlocking. Because Strange later on kind of talks about how the world is already unlocked, and you can kind of tell that something recently has changed that, and I think it's definitely when Norrell brought back Lady Pole.
Yes.
Which, I mean, technically he didn't, but he brought back the person who brought back Lady Pole.
So that is so infuriating. The whole time he's like, don't use fairy magic. You cannot use fairy magic. It is so dangerous. La 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 la. And if he would have just been like, hey, Strange, I did this thing. And
it happened.
And this is why, you know, you need to stay away from this, or that this is why things are happening, and that the mirror inside the mirror world is unlocked. What is that called? The in-between place?
King's Roads?
Yes.
Which were gorgeous in the TV show, by the way.
Oh my gosh, yes.
I didn't read them that way in the book, so to see them that way on the TV show, I was like, oh, this is how I wanted to picture this.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Watch the TV show, it's really good.
That part was also very satisfying in the book at the end, where Norrell is saying, when he actually apologizes, he does that in the TV show. He's like, and Strange is like, if you had just told me the whole time, sorry pillow, if you had just told me, you know, maybe things would have gone differently.
Very much so. And I think that's definitely the case, because the whole time the prophecy is one who is arrogant and one who lied, and we know, obviously, Norrell is the one that lied throughout the whole book. So therefore, everything wouldn't have taken place if he would have just told the truth.
Yeah.
And just been like, hey, this happened. And it's obvious that he knew what was going to happen, because leading up to that point, he was so like, should I do this? It's awful. It's, you know, shouldn't be done. But he still does it anyways to kind of gain favor, which I think was very selfish of him.
And then he's like, well, it tricked me. And Strange is like, of course he tricked you. He's a fairy.
And I think Norrell knew that going into it. So I don't think he was therefore tricked. I think he was just therefore complacent, almost sacrificing Lady Pole for his own gain on English magic.
Absolutely.
Because he put that above all else. Like, it didn't matter who, it was like, that was what's important, and it doesn't matter
And he even says it. He says, what is one woman's fate compared to the war and, like, winning the war?
Yeah.
Which is kind of true. But it's an asshole move.
Very much so. And I think another reason why I think he obviously had to know is because he had all the books.
Yes.
And he very much, sequestered or the knowledge from anybody else.
Did you want him after... Okay, so Strange comes back from Waterloo, and I think it was Waterloo, and he's like, I can't be your pupil anymore. And he's like, well, I'll give you... You can have all the books that I have now. And I wanted him to be like, okay. Like, I wanted him to take the books and be like, yeah, we can be friends. I'll use your library.
Yeah.
There's no more of this pupil stuff.
I had actually two different opinions on this between the book and the TV show. So you go through, and in the book you're like, yeah, just take the books, take the knowledge, and basically mess him up later on, because you'll be more powerful than him. Because the whole time I was like, clearly Strange has more magic than Norrell ever does.
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, just do it. And then I watched the TV show. And the whole scenes between Strange and Arabella and her, basically saying, you don't have to do this no more. Just, be with me, basically.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, yeah, go take the books. Just go ahead.
Yeah, you're absolutely right.
Do your own thing,
Yeah.
So I see where, looking back, I'm like, okay, I get why the book did it that way now. Because I don't know if it's the actors and the way they portray them, but
for sure.
This is excellent stuff.
Yes.
I was like, okay, I can feel your emotion now, because throughout the whole book, I kind of thought Strange didn't really care about Arabella as much.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, I mean, I get why he's doing it maybe out of duty and stuff like that, but I never really felt like he completely loved her the way I did in the TV show.
Yes.
So I was like, which maybe is the point in the book, I don't know, because he kind of comes across as a little arrogant, which is part of the prophecy. And I kind of thought maybe at the beginning he wanted her specifically because of her station or her wealth or something like that, which I don't really know for sure how much wealth she had to begin with.
I don't know.
I know he had a ton from his dad.
Yeah.
His dad was awful.
Oh.
He's terrible.
Yeah, he was really bad.
And so I kind of got that, and I got later on, but I kind of thought he was saving her out of like a duty he felt as being her husband, like he had to versus he wanted to.
Yeah, that's one.
And in the TV show, I was like, he wants to.
Yes, that is definitely the biggest thing that I took away from the TV show that I liked better than the book was their relationship, Arabella and Strange. And when she comes back from the moors, and he's like, honey, and she acts that out so well in the TV show.
Very good.
Where she's a log, and he's like devastated over she's a log.
Is that something that I guess I completely maybe wasn't paying attention to the way I should or something when I was listening to it? But I watched a TV show and I was like, she's a log? Like, when did that happen? And I was like, oh, the mossy oak bit. Oh, okay. I didn't get that.
Well,
so
I was watching it as I was reading, so I was kind of getting spoiled for the book.
Oh, okay.
As I was going,
which I think might be kind of helpful with this book in some ways because some of it, it's like you go into so much detail about one thing and then it's so vague about another. And so I was like constantly like, okay, what's necessarily important versus, like what you should pay attention to. So watching the TV show and like thinking back to the stuff I listened to, I was like, oh, that's what happened.
Yes.
Where I didn't really get that the first time listening to it, but I still really, really enjoyed it. So
Me too.
It was a strange combination.
Something big would happen in the book, and then I would say, okay, now I can watch another episode. But then, like, the Battle of Waterloo happened, and I think, oh, okay, so Strange is going to go to war, so I can watch an episode. But then Lady Pole's storyline progresses so much faster, and so I'm getting, like, other things before I'm listening, which is fine. I recommend doing that because I enjoyed that whole experience, getting them both. And also, I was getting the passion from the television show.
Yeah.
And that I wasn't getting in the books, and so therefore I was enjoying the book even more because I could imagine them,
The actors.
like, yes.
Yeah. That's one thing that I'm kind of like, wish I kind of would have done.
Yeah.
Because I listened to the whole thing first, and then I went through, and, like, I finished the show maybe, like, 30 minutes before we started filming this.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, we'll watch the last 20 minutes together.
Which is excellent. Excellent
yes.
stuff.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Great. But I'm like, watching the show, I think back to that part, and I'm like, oh, that's how it should have been. And that's the whole way through the TV show. It's like, that's how it should have been.
Yes.
And I'm like, and that's very rare that I feel that way.
Yeah.
Like,
Me
the
too.
book I gave 4 stars to.
Uh-huh.
I thought it was excellent.
Yes.
TV show, 5 stars.
Yes.
Totally.
Me too.
Even the layout of how they laid the stuff out
Mm-hmm.
made it more interesting for me.
Yes.
And it's very rare that you cut 32 hours to 7 hours.
Yes.
And you're happy with it.
Right.
Totally happy.
Me too. Absolutely 100%.
Mm-hmm. You left out the first third of the book, but I was like,
they really
let's
did.
move on.
Yeah. And you see Jonathan Strange in the first episode.
Within like 20 minutes, too.
Mm-hmm. And Lady Pole's resurrection. Lady Pole? I did not know her name was Lady Pole, because I'm listening to it and I'm like, Lady Pole? Who's Lady Pole? Or like P-O-E. And then I was like, maybe she's Lady Poor?
The accents, you know. Are you talking about in the audiobook or in the...
In the audiobook. I didn't know who it was, or like how to spell her name.
Yeah.
Until I watched it, and it's Pole.
Yeah.
And then I could hear it.
He does a really good job.
He does a really great job.
Yeah. Great job.
Yeah.
Like, I even, like, before I gave you the audiobook, I, like, played a little bit of book club, and I was like, this might be my favorite, like, audiobook voice.
Yes.
Because it's very soothing.
Mm-hmm.
And it was funny watching I watched most of the TV show with my husband, who is British, and he would go through and he's like, what is that accent? Where's that from? And I'm like, well, they're supposed to be from here. And he's like, no.
Who would he say that about?
He hates Segundus's. Segundus' voice in the show.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, what accent is that? I don't get it.
That's
and
funny.
I was like, I don't know.
What do you think of Childimas?
I thought he was awesome. And I liked him in the TV show. I never really paid attention to him in the book.
Me neither.
In the book, I was like, okay. So.
He was an amazing Childimas in the TV show.
Yes.
Kind of like Viggo Mortensen in The Lord of the Rings.
Yeah,
like,
kind of.
He was kind of Aragorn-y.
Yeah.
Is his name Aragorn? Is that Aragorn? Aragon?
Aragon. Right? I should know this. It's
one
of my favorite
I know.
and books.
Mm-hmm.
Love them both.
Yeah.
But I'm not good at pronouncing names, so... And, like, I went through, and even from listening to the audiobook and watching the TV show, I still can't say half their names.
Oh.
Like, I'm like, Vinculus. Secundus. It's like I was trying to... Because, you know, when me and Mark were watching it, I'd go through, and I'd have to pause it, and he'd be like, so what's going on there? Because there is some background stuff that the TV show doesn't really explain. It kind of goes straight into it. Like, you know, the thistle down hair man. You never really know what he is until later on in the TV show.
Oh, I didn't realize
They never really talk about what exactly he is.
Oh.
So they go through, and Mark watches the first episode with me, and he was like, what is that guy? He looks weird. I'm like, oh, he's a fairy. He's like, a fairy?
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah. I was like, they didn't explain this. I was like, I got like a third of the book that explained all this. So, you know? So then I was like, okay, so he's this, and it goes through like this. And he's like, oh, okay. And so we watched another like 20 minutes, and they would show a new character, and he's like, what's his story? And I'm like, okay, so you go there, and yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah. So
that's pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I had seen an interview with the guy who played Childimas, and he was talking about how he is from York, and he went back and did like an older dialect of Yorkshire accent, and so that's what I was wondering if he liked his accent or not. If he thought
probably he didn't have a problem with him. He thought he was a pretty cool guy.
Yeah.
So
okay.
So it was. I think he was okay with him. But Secundus, he was like, I don't get this.
All right. So the end, I thought, was so excellent. Not the ending, but leading up to the climax was just like, I can't even explain it. I was just so excited the whole time.
For me, when it really started getting like 5-star good, when Jonathan Strange came back from Waterloo.
Mm-hmm.
And from that point on, I was like, I'm hooked.
The end, though, like, when Jonathan is stuck in the freaking curse. Yeah, in the darkness. And he can't get out. And it's like, in the book, when she comes to him and he's like, oh, well, you know, I've been so busy, I haven't been able to, like, see if I can get out of this curse yet.
Who comes to who? Who are you talking about?
Okay, sorry. When Arabella comes to Strange.
At the very, very end.
Into the darkness.
Okay.
And I expected her to stay with him. I expected him to say, hold on one second, we have this whole library of magical texts. I'll just try and figure out how to get this undone so that we could be together forever. I love you. Let's make love. I don't know. Something.
Yeah.
And no, what he does is, well, I haven't had time to see, you know, if, you know, there's a spell that will break this curse, you know, because we've been busy doing stuff. Like, what have you been busy doing that's more important? What's he been busy doing that's more important?
Did he really say they hadn't had time to lift the darkness and do the curse?
He didn't say I didn't have time. What he said was, I can't remember the exact quote, but it was basically, we've been busy. He said that. And I haven't had a chance to look into the spells to see how to lift the darkness. He says that. And I was like, what? That is not what television Jonathan would say.
No, it is definitely not. I don't know. I guess I didn't really catch that, but for me, I kind of thought that they were trying to figure out all the magic and try to figure out what exactly transpired between all of it, because I don't think it was kind of confusing, because in the TV show, like, all of it happens in one place.
Yeah.
Whereas in the books, like, they weren't with Stephen Black when he killed the fairy, the Thistledown Hair Man.
Right.
So maybe they don't know that that's happened. Because they're stuck inside their little bubble.
Yeah.
And if they think that he's dead, then the curse should be lifted, then they don't know that he's dead necessarily. Maybe they just
he did say, I don't know how we did it. This is not how we meant to do it, but we succeeded.
Yeah.
And, you know.
So maybe they're still trying to figure out about the fairy and, like, what has gone on there. Because that's part of what they perceive as the curse, right? It's because he was cursed with the darkness. And so therefore, technically, if the guy's dead, the curse should be lifted. Yeah. Which it's not. But so maybe they don't know what transpired with Stephen Black.
Sure.
And maybe that's what they've been busy trying to.
I was so annoyed. Okay. Shifting gears. I wish in the TV show it had explained a little bit more about how Stephen Black was reviving fairy in a new way, and that it kind of takes on the personality of the person who is ruling it.
Yeah, because I really like that part of the book. That he kind of got, like, his happy ending, basically.
Yes.
After, you know, all of the craziness that he had in his life between, you know, obviously being born a slave on the ship and that sort of thing, and finding out the terrible things that he'd done. And that's another thing in the TV show that I was kind of like, why didn't you include that? Which is one of the only things in the TV show I'm like, is they didn't include the fairy going around and figuring out his name.
Oh, yes.
And I'm like, I kind of really enjoyed that part of the book, even though it was terrible.
It was awful.
Absolutely terrible.
Oh, it was bad.
But I'm like, I kind of want to see it.
Yeah, me too.
Maybe that's the Slytherin in me that I'm like, I want to see people die. No, I'm just kidding. But no, but really, I really kind of liked that part in the book. And
me too.
I felt like that was a turning point for Stephen, in the sense that he really had this hatred really build up from that point for England. And that's another thing, is like they didn't really, in the TV show, in the book, you know, he has this hatred, he has all his power all of a sudden, he considers like completely annihilating all of England at one point in the book.
He does.
And I was like, oh man. I was like, isn't that a way it ended? And I was like, I really hope that doesn't happen. And then, of course, you know, he goes through and kills the Thistledown Hair Man, which we never have a name for, do we?
No. Just the gentleman with the thistledown hair. Yeah. And
so, and the whole time I'm like, there's a reason for why he's being this way. And I felt like in the TV show they never really gave him that background.
Yes.
Like, you kind of see a little bit, like they show a little bit the slavery ship, and you show his mom dying and that sort of thing. But it doesn't go into in depth the way the book does.
Yeah. Specifically that part. I agree. That's the one thing that I was like, Stephen's ending needed to happen a little more fleshed
Yeah.
out. But that's hard when you only have 7 hours. And
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like 15 minutes though could have, gave him a little bit more of a background of why he did it.
Yeah. Sure.
Which I guess if you're coming from the book and watching the TV show, you know why. But if you just watch the TV show, like Mark was like, I don't get this guy. And I was like, yeah, it's a little hard to get. Really, I empathized with this character all the way throughout the book.
Yeah, me too.
I was like, I feel bad for you because you know everything that's going on.
Mm-hmm, and he's powerless.
He's probably the one person that does know everything.
Yeah.
That's going on.
Maybe the book is his. Maybe he's the narrator.
Maybe. Still think it's Raven King. I like that.
I do too, but like, man, that's a contender.
Yeah. It could be.
Mhm.
The only problem besides the first third of the book that I have with the book, which I like the first third, it was just kind of not as good.
Yeah.
As the last.
I understand.
Is they didn't end it. Like, I felt like if it's a standalone book, I want to walk away from it like...
Me too.
Like, I know what happened.
Absolutely.
But the ending, I'm like, I don't know.
Can you... Yeah, that just made me so mad.
And I felt like the TV show tried to, but it doesn't end.
No.
And that's why I'm like, well, maybe there's a second one. I really like the second one, but I'm like, I don't think there's going to be.
I don't think so either. Can you envision what another sequel would be like? Because I can't really.
I feel like it'd be the Raven King coming back and being like total like rah.
We get more with Raven King.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they set up for his comeback.
Yeah.
That's the whole point. Is this whole book was his spell setting up 2 magicians that make the way for his comeback. So I'm like, I want to know what his comeback is. So.
And maybe Arabella and Strange would be together. That's one thing. It was so hard, especially watching it after getting all of Jonathan's background and I feel like I know him.
Yeah.
He's one of my new favorite characters of all time. Jonathan Strange's
But you have to combine TV Jonathan with book Jonathan.
And I do that.
Book Jonathan on his own, not as likable. But TV Jonathan is totally awesome.
He was casted perfectly.
Yes.
Where was I going with this?
It's funny because when TV Jonathan was first introduced, I was like, he doesn't have red hair.
Does he have red hair in the book?
I thought he was a redhead.
I don't remember that at all.
Because I thought that was part of the reason why he wasn't desirable by the ladies. Because he was a ginger.
His hair had a tinge of red or something.
Yeah.
So,
and I was like, come on, redhead, I love it.
Yeah.
But no.
Oh, man.
So I was kind of like, when he was introduced, I was like, he doesn't have any red. I'm like, where's the redhead? And I was like, oh, well. For me, I was listening to it. The whole time I was listening to it, I was kind of picturing like a Ronald Weasley, grown up, redheaded wizard. And it's kind of fantastic. so then I got the cast on the TV show, and I was like, oh, okay. Well, that works too. I like him too.
I thought he was brilliant.
He was. The whole cast was.
Yes.
And it's funny because the whole cast I was going through, and I was like, do I recognize this person? And then I looked him up, and I didn't recognize him, and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
I was like, you're really good.
Yeah.
I was like, why don't I know more stuff about you?
I know, and that's one thing I like because when you have people that you've never seen before, you don't have any baggage. To me, that he is Jonathan Strange, and I don't see another character when I look at him.
And I love the girl who portrayed Arabella, too.
Me too. I thought she did great.
Yeah.
When she was dying, though, the whole time I was like, is she breathing? Looking for, tiny... I could see some a little bit.
Yeah.
Did you notice?
Yeah, I tried not to look at that.
I did, too. But I was like, her acting was excellent.
Of course, anything that BBC makes is normally pretty fantastic.
It was so good.
Yeah. For me, I actually kind of enjoyed the fact that all the characters were together and kind of cooperating together in the TV show. I thought that was very nice.
I did, too.
And so, because in the book, that kind of got confusing because everybody was everywhere. And I was like, okay, so you're here, and you're here, and you're here, but suddenly you're there, and I'm like, how is this going on? But it was really good. But yeah, the ending was kind of a letdown. The whole build-up, I was like, it's building up to something, and it was kind of just open-ended. Like, you're left with Norrell and Strange going off on their own to do something, supposedly to lift the curse, but they haven't really.
Not really in the book.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we haven't had time to do that.
We're busy.
Oh, it made me so mad.
Yeah. And then you have, of course you want to know what happens with Arabella, because she's kind of like suddenly left on her own.
Yeah.
And
in Venice.
Yeah, and then
she does go back to England in the book.
Yeah. And at that point in time, like, you're not really supposed to be a female on your own type thing.
No.
Because she's technically not widowed.
Right.
And she's technically...
She's just going to have to wait for him.
Yeah, but he tells her not to wait for him. So it's kind of like, well, what does she do? I don't know in that timeline what
but
she
he says don't be a widow.
Yeah.
So I feel like he wants her to wait, but he doesn't want her to be sad about it.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know.
I don't know. It's strange.
It's Jonathan Strange.
Yeah. that's good. And like, you have Lady Pole is suddenly back, and it's like, okay, she clearly is not happy with her husband. She's not happy with hardly anybody. Because they basically was just like, well, you're crazy, What are we going to do about it? And just kind of ship her off. So I kind of want to know what happens with her.
Me too.
I'm like, I feel like she can go by and like, really like have some anger towards some people.
Yeah. They said it was an arranged marriage, wasn't it? But I felt like, I'm trying to think back, like way back, before she dies, before Lady Pole dies. And I thought that they were in love, but when Lady Pole dies.
Oh, at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, I didn't ever think they were in love. I kind of thought, okay, Lady Pole's mom was like, you should marry him.
Mm-hmm.
He's powerful and all that.
Yeah.
And you're dying.
Here's your dowry.
Yeah. And
of a lot of money.
You're kind of dying, so it doesn't really matter. Basically, is how they treated her.
So it was just like she is brought back to life so that he can have her money, and he can impress. Norrell can impress everybody. It's just like poor Lady Pole.
Yeah.
I'm happy that she gets unenchanted at the end, though.
Yeah, you could really just tell everybody off. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, you go, girl. I was like, you tell everyone.
And she was even upset with Strange, though, in the book. And that kind of, made me sad. Because I felt like, was he there for her? I don't know.
I felt
but
like
she felt like, why did she feel like he was complacent? That he just let things happen?
I felt like maybe she thought he should have had some knowledge of what went on. And I think she overestimated what Norrell will share with him. I think she's like, if he's your master and you're his princess, you should know what's going on.
I can get that. You're
and
right.
so she's like, you're doing nothing and just letting this happen to me when you should know. You of all people should be the one person that would know.
Yeah, that's given me more perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand.
That's kind of how I thought about it. Because I was like, I was too at first. I was like, why's she going to him? He didn't do nothing. And then I'm like, well, from her point of view, he should know better. And he should help fix it and not just sit there by there and just, basically learn from Norrell because, basically you go do this for Norrell and, because the whole world is basically like, oh, he's Norrell's man. He goes through and he does all this magic for Norrell, basically. So, I did like in the TV show, like the interaction between Norrell and Strange because it really showed how
different,
jealous Norrell was of Strange. Because it's like Strange comes back from the war and he has 3 medals on his coat and Norrell looks at it and looks down at his one like, gosh, I'm supposed to be the head here, You could tell that there was some animosity there.
Yeah, before that though, he was kind of like, I don't want to say in love with Strange, but just like, he knows so much and all I have to do is tell him once and then he has ideas about it even better than mine and he knows how to apply them and he's like sees his genius and if only Strange could have access to all of that Norrell does, he would be so much greater.
Yeah. And I think part of that for Norrell is just like for us, like being able to talk about a book.
Yeah.
For them being able to talk about magic was just something that they can't do with anybody else.
Yes.
So it's like they go through and Norrell finally has this one person that understands. little does he know that Childamas would probably understand too.
Yeah.
Like, he's totally there and all in, but, you know, Norrell kind of puts him to the side. Like, you can't do magic. I'm the only magician, and it's not until someone else actually does magic without Norrell.
Yeah.
So he's like, maybe there's two. But only two, you know. But,
I love how magic is restored to everyone who wants to do magic in the end.
Yeah.
I love that.
So, two characters that I absolutely hated in the book.
Lascelles and Norrell.
Oh!
Yeah.
I realized we got through this whole discussion without talking about
because
them.
we don't like them, I guess.
I hate them.
And
And part of me kind of feels bad for Norrell a little bit.
Yeah.
Because clearly, I mean, he's a despicable person. But I don't feel like he's evil.
No.
For Lascelles, I feel like is awful.
Yes.
Like
Lascelles is awful.
He's kind of a psychopath.
I think after he went through that and got scared so bad, I think he would have changed his ways.
Oh, yeah. I think he was solely devoted to Jonathan Strange at that point.
Yeah, he was like,
I will do whatever you want.
Yes.
Just, you know, don't do that again.
And that was intense in the book too,
Yeah.
where he's like rain and like in the ground, and
Yeah.
then he's in the trees, and like he like lives in age.
One of the things I kind of missed from the TV show that the books did to Norrell is, like, you know, Norrell's going through all this society, you know, and trying to find out what Strange is doing in Venice. And he goes to was it Grayscale? Gray.
Oh.
The doctor.
Yes.
And, you know, the doctor is actually friends with Jonathan Strange in the book, but in the TV show he hates him. So I'm like, that was kind of a weird thing. And so he, like, pretends to be, you know, with Norrell, like, listening to him, like, oh, yeah, you think? And he's like, you know, get out of here, like, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
I like that too. He
yeah.
kicks him in the.
That was his servant.
Yeah.
Because after that point, he goes to Frank, which is the Dr. Gray. I think it's Grayscale.
Gray something.
He goes to the servant afterwards and was like, hey, you know, I can make you free. I can give you a whole bunch of money, you know, make your life just fantastic. You know, all you got to do is betray, you know, the doctor and Jonathan Strange. And it's like, the guy kicks him to the river. And I was like, that is the best. The best.
Yeah.
I was like, literally had to pause it and laugh. I was like, this is great. And then, of course, after that, I'm like, ooh, Norrell, like, ooh, you're in trouble. And then it's like, you know, throughout the whole time, it's like, as soon as they started mentioning that, you know, stuff was happening where people were thinking they were getting taught by Strange and stuff like that, I was like, Norrell has something to do with this. Like, I immediately was like, it's that weasel, you know. He was how I picture him the whole time. He almost has, like, if I was going to compare it to Harry Potter, almost like a Wormtail type of character.
Yes.
Where he kind of mooches off of everybody. And you see, you know, he's in jail for most of the book after that point. And, you know, he comes out and it's like, I'll do anything for you, Lascelles, because, you know, you took me out of that place little and no. Like, he put him in there.
Yeah.
I don't think he knew that.
I don't think so either.
So I was like, okay, you saved me, you know, and all that. So he goes to, like, you know, then he gets kicked in the river, and, you know, he's sent back with these 3 messages, which I thought the 3-message whole part of the book was hilarious. It was like, what's the 3rd message?
Yeah.
Like, you give me 2, my God.
And he just starts weeping in the book. He's like, I just need to know the 3rd message. Like, all his self-pity comes out, and he's like, I love that part.
I thought it was really good in the book, and it was really good in the TV show, too. But I was like, okay. So, and then he goes back, and of course Lascelles kills him, basically, and steals the messages, basically, and I was like, you are terrible.
Yeah.
And the one thing about Lascelles is his story in the book and the TV show are completely different.
Yes.
Because, from my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, in the book, Childamas finds a King's Road.
Yes.
He goes into it.
Yeah.
There's like, oh, there's a, you know, garden, this castle that has, you know, a princess or whatever, fairy princess or something in it.
And it might not even.
And, yeah, it might not. I don't know, it's weird. And so, and the guardian's like, if you say you're going to hurt my lady, I have to fight you to the death, basically.
Right. And
there's corpses and everything everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this sounds really cool. And then, you know, Childamas walks out and was like, I don't want to hurt anybody, and just walks away, you know?
Yeah.
And I was like, you go, Childamas.
Right.
You're cool. Like,
good job.
Yeah. And then, you know, he tells them, and Lascelles is like,
You should have fought him.
Yeah, like, how dare you not be an Englishman and, like, fight for the honor of England.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what honor of England? I was like, he didn't insult him or anything. He just said, if you're going to hurt my princess, I got to kill you. It's like, well, that's obviously not like,
and
throw
then
that.
well, I'm going to hurt the princess then.
Yeah. He's like, it's not like the Guardian threw the glove in your face, the signal and duel, and you walked off.
Oh, yeah.
So I was just like, don't threaten anybody and you'll be okay. And Elizabeth was like, okay, peace.
Yeah.
And he walked out. And then Lascelles thinks he has to be, the bigger man and go through and, like, avenge, England.
Yeah, he was just looking to pick a fight.
Yeah, and he goes through and he kills a guy, and now I think he's stuck there for eternity until someone kills him.
Okay, well, I feel like we talked about everything. I have the ending. Why? So, yeah, we got
the whole time when it finished, and Audible has the little music that comes on, and they're like, this audio production was blah, 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 and he has the little music. I was like, oh, really?
Oh, it ended?
Yeah.
I gotcha.
I was like, well, I had at least 2 more hours of listening that I could have done, to figure out what happened. I'm like, I'm 32 hours in. I want to know a definite end.
Me too. Yeah, that was very upsetting.
Yeah. Because, I like to read. But 32 hours is a
long time
to
not
long
know
time to invest your time into a book.
Yes.
Like, I feel like if it was written like the TV show, to where it was a lot shorter.
Mhm.
And
yeah, if it was short, if it was like half the size, and it ended that way, I would say, oh, fine.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. But I invested like a month of my listening time.
Yes.
To this book, and I was like, it needed an ending.
Yeah.
I was so mad. I was like, this is how it ends. I was like, really?
Mhm.
So I'm gonna have to do some research and see
if there's gonna be something else.
Yeah. To see if she's written anything else.
I think I heard that she did, but I don't know if that's true. I heard that there's like some short stories that take place in the same world, but I don't know if our characters are in it.
Yeah. I don't even mind, like, if it's set, like, okay, like, theoretically.
Mhm.
So, from what I got from this book, is the Raven King set up this spell 300 years ago that would take place, that would set up these 2 wizards that would bring the magic back to England.
Uh-huh.
For his revival, basically. Which you see him a little bit in the book and in the TV show. So I'm like, what if they set this up and then, like, it's like another, like, 200 years or so before he actually comes back. And then it's like modern day Raven King comes back. I'm like, that would be awesome.
Oh my gosh.
Wouldn't it?
Yeah.
I
wonder if our magicians would be in it, you think?
Yeah, because they're living in this crazy space between worlds.
Yeah.
Doing who knows what. They're busy, though.
Too busy.
They're too busy for life, so they must be doing something.
Uh-huh. Oh my god.
That'd be incredible, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
I need a...
Oh my gosh, and then they come back and they're like still in their like...
Yeah.
Ooh.
That'd be incredible, just to have them pop out of the, the fairy world, or their in-between dimensional world, and their, 1806 garb.
Interesting.
And then they're just like...
Susanna Clarke, make that book.
Yeah.
Good job. Oh my gosh, that's an excellent... Alright, I think
modern day Raven King.
Yeah.
And Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell.
I love it.
Awesome.
Okay. We really love the book. Susanna is, I think, a genius.
She's very, very good.
She leaves us in this world where a black man could become a king, and women are entitled to their own voice, and magic is real and maybe tangible, and I love it.
Love it.
Excellent.
Very
Well,
good.
if you made it this far, I'm impressed with you. Thank you so much for watching. Christina will be back.
Maybe I'll make another appearance. Who knows?
We would love it to have you because you're
Thanks.
so wonderful. And your opinions were riveting, so thank you.
You're welcome.
All
I
right.
tried.
Okay, come be our friends. I'm Jess Game of Tomes on Twitter.
And I'm at MegUnthink, which is UNTHANK322 on Twitter.
Cool. All right, I hope you're reading a good book.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay. Back to Jonathan Strange.
Where are we? What's happening?